but when it comes to the mental aspect of all this, do you feel that there's maybe a different approach you need to take when it comes to just making sure the team psyche is where it's supposed to be, or does it really have to be as business as normal as possible to really achieve the desired result?
No, there's not a different process. This is the process. You got to come to work every day. You got to work hard. You got to enjoy what you do, and you got to get better. That cultural piece of what it takes to be successful, there's zero changes. That'll not change. And if you keep working, right? I use the term with the team today, bamboo. Like it takes 4 to 5 years to grow bamboo, and you water it like a crazy person for 4 to 5 years, not understanding that by the year 5 it starts to grow, and once it grows, what, 60 feet in 6 weeks, whatever that looks like, 90 feet in 6 weeks. Not everybody understands at times the growth you're making, and you at times don't even understand the growth you're making because the results don't reflect it. But eventually, if you continue to water and you continue to do the cultural things necessary and to put the work in, one day it's going to spurt and it's going to grow, and it's going to grow like wildfire. And you just can't lose focus on the end game, and that's getting better, and eventually it's going to grow.
Chris Cartman, Son of a Source. 2 questions. First, Kenny, where did you find the bamboo analogy?
That actually goes back, ironically, if you ask people at Florida State, they're going to laugh because I think I got destroyed for using that analogy, I believe, when we started 0-4 in year 2 there. And not many people liked it. And now it's turned into somewhat of a joke over there because, you know, it came to fruition. It started 0-4, and we ended the year 5-3. And then the next year, you know, they went out and won 9 regular season games, and look at them now. So it's just what I believe in is nobody knows the work you put in, and everybody, it's a results-driven world. So when people don't see results, they just jump to a conclusion. They don't understand that there may actually be some growth happening. It's just happening under the surface. And those are the teams, and when those jumps happen is when you go from, you know, a average team to a good team to a great team quickly is when all of a sudden it spurts. And it doesn't happen overnight. Nobody knows when it's going to happen, but eventually it's going to happen.
And then next question. There's tons of variables that go into a successful offense. So when you evaluate it at this point between execution, talent that you have, game planning, play calling, et cetera, how do you sort of divide where a lot of the focus or issues might be?
Yeah, I think when you watch the game, it's on tape, it's fairly frustrating because there's a lot of mistakes that are made that are so minor that if just that changed, the outlook on the football game is drastically different. And that's offense, so that's football, is a lot of minor issues. I wouldn't say there's a lot of major issues. I think there's a lot of minor issues, and those minor issues 25 times a game become major issues. And I've really challenged myself to say, okay, why are we busting, not seeing a perimeter screen? Well, maybe it's on us and our signal pattern. Maybe we need to change how we're doing that. Maybe I need to find a better way to get that done. And that's really what I've challenged myself. I've challenged our staff to do is it's our fault, our job to get guys to execute. If they're not, it's not their fault. It's our fault. We've got to find a better way to get it done.
Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. Obviously, the amount of injuries you've got is pretty astounding at this point. Do you have to change how you practice or what you're doing in practice so that you don't come up with more of these in the middle of the week?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, that's the only thing about the injury bug that is unfortunate is you don't have enough, you know, people to practice how you want to practice. So even last week, we were getting half the reps we would normally get in a week because you don't have a 2-deep, and you still have to give a look squad to the other side. So that is the unfortunate part, but you know what? Nobody cares. So we got to be able to adapt around it, maybe be a little bit different, be creative instead of going, you know, 5 plays versus defense and 4 plays off. Maybe we go every other one to increase tempo, right? So we get a tempo rep, then a live rep, then a tempo rep, then a live rep. I don't know, but we're looking into that right now.
As a follow-up, can you talk about the quarterback situation? Obviously, you had a couple go down in the game
Yeah,
Saturday night.
we're still don't know on those two exactly where they stand. The results were better than what they could have been, but we got to see how they go out this week and roll. I think Jacob did a nice job coming in for getting no reps and just executing. I mean, his interceptions, one of them was he'd like to have back, and another one was just him forcing the ball in a game where we didn't get anything going. So I got a lot of faith in Jacob if he takes the field.
Hey, Kenny. Mark McLuhan, 3TV, CBS 5. What's the message to the fan base right now after the disappointment of Saturday?
Same message. If you thought this was going to be easy, you're wrong. Like, this is a process to get to where we want to go. And, that's the challenge that I've said all along is this is a state that likes winners. And in order to win in college football, you need everybody behind you. And we need people to stay behind us, stay behind our players, and stay behind the process that it takes to be successful. And we're gonna get it done. It's just a matter of when it grows. And I wish I could be in control of that and say this is the week, right? But you never know. You never know it clicks until it clicks.
Kenny, Colin Harmon, ABC 15 Sports. The bamboo analogy is not lost on me, but in the short term, with the injury situation where it is, and Caleb Williams and USC coming in, you guys being 5 touchdown underdogs, how do you keep kind of the mentality and the psyche in place going into a game where you have so many external things going against you as well?
Yeah, I mean, none of that stuff affects me personally. Shouldn't affect our players. I mean, we talked about that. I showed them that we are that big of an underdog. Like, who cares? Go play the game. And go to work this week and play the football game to win the football game. It's very simple. And I think that's always going to be our focus is be better every single day. I could care less what people say, what people do, what people believe. None of that matters to me because I know we're doing the right things. And if I were to make a drastic change of, we're going to drastically change our culture, or we're going to not practice on Thursday and practice Friday, that's more of a red flag than staying the course. I know this is a recipe that's been successful almost everywhere it's been, how we're practicing, how we're operating. So stay the course, don't waver, and continue to get better every day.
Coach Caleb Campbell, Devil's Digest. You've mentioned time and time again it's business as usual. So getting to business, what is the challenge like for the offensive line that you do have when you have a very aggressive USC team that likes to bring pressure, that will bring 4 to 5 guys, and has a lot of faith in their DBs in terms of coverage?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get one-on-ones. So we got to put our guys in the best position to create leverage and create matchups to where they're not on islands as best as possible. But, I mean, I actually thought our O-line, they were one of the bright spots of our offense in the game. When you go back and watch it, there were a few clips and some twist game stuff that caused issues. But I thought our O-line actually made a huge jump, those guys that were on the field from the Oklahoma State game to last week. I thought there was a growth there, which, like I said, nobody's going to, people aren't going to like the fact that I just said that. But me as a coach, there was a huge growth there. And we just got to keep growing and keep learning and keep getting better.
Luke Linton here, 12 Sports. Coach, we know big underdog, all that stuff, injuries with the team. But how much do you relish the challenge of facing one of the top teams in the country and maybe have it be a barometer as to where you stand within the conference and things of that nature?
Yeah. I mean, one thing our players know about me is, like, if I get on a team, if I go play hoops in the morning, if I go do something, I want to be on the team that's not expected to win. It's not as fun. I want to be on the team that you have to grind and scratch and crawl and compete and fight and dive for loose balls, where you have to do everything necessary to give yourself a chance to win. So this is my world, right? Just in life, this is my world. And I love it. That's what I love. So if you're scared to play somebody, like, leave. We don't need you in the building, right? We're going to win the football game. That's what we're going to play to win the football game. And that's why you go out there. And anybody who doesn't have that belief, regardless of what the world thinks, right, there's a problem. And that's the mindset we have to have is we're going to play to win the football game. We're going to prepare to win the football game. And we're going to do everything we can to win the football game. I mean, that's it. Any other mindset is unacceptable to take the field with, oh, let's keep it close. No. Okay, there's not a moral victory. We're either going to win the game or we're going to lose the game. And if we win the game, we're going to learn from it. If we lose the game, we're going to learn from it. It's that simple.
Yeah, players tend to get up for big opponents like a USC, so that should be there anyways. But how have they responded to the messaging that you've been giving them the last couple of days?
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys have responded well. They showed up to workouts today. They had a good attitude in meetings. And just like I told them in the meeting room is you have to learn how to respond to not getting the result you want, but it doesn't mean you learn how to accept it. You can't accept losing. You can't accept feeling this way. You just have to learn how to respond to it. But once that feeling becomes comfortable, now you have a problem. So we should never be sad. We shouldn't come in there and be happy-go-lucky. Oh, this is great. I'm over it. No, it should bother you. It should bug you. It should affect you in a mindset that you want to do everything you can to fix it. And I think our guys are in that mindset. Today was the first day in a long time our entire offense was there 10 minutes early. So, like I pointed out to them, that's interesting, right? We've been rolling in offensively 3-4 minutes early, and today was the first day we had everybody there 10 minutes early. Well, that tells me there's probably a little bit more of a focus to get things done this week just by that little action that everybody showed up 10 minutes early. And that's what we're trying to build and get to on a consistent basis.
I know that after the game you applauded the efforts of the defense, playing really under really tough circumstances, were really doing their best. But then you also have the issue of not forcing turnovers. And I know maybe it sounds like nitpicking at this point, but that was probably an aspect that could have helped quite a bit on a game like you had last Saturday. Are you able to maybe put your finger on why everything else is going well for the defense, but that one aspect is flowing?
I think when you're early in a scheme, that's a pressure scheme with a lot of man eyes, guys aren't as comfortable getting their eyes off of a guy right as quickly, or they're not as comfortable in the scheme. And when you're not as comfortable in the scheme yet, you have a less likelihood of seeing tip passes, of getting your hands on balls and stuff like that. So I think as we progress in the scheme, you're going to continue to see the aggressiveness and the attacking, but I think you'll see the back end get more and more comfortable. And as they get more and more comfortable, I think their eyes will allow them to make more of those plays than they do now. But I think that's a comfort level in the scheme with the pattern matching and everything, just having a full comfort. So I think that will come naturally as we progress.
Hey, Coach, Jordan Ham, Sports 360 AZ. A few weeks ago, you mentioned how you didn't like having multiple QBs go in or splitting reps. The plan for Fresno was to go ahead and do that. What changed with that, and do you foresee potentially doing that if there are enough healthy QBs?
I don't like doing that, but there wasn't a real clear-cut guy going into it, so we wanted to give them both a chance and see kind of who ran away with it. Was our thought was hopefully in one of these first 4 possessions, we would kind of know which guys showed up there on game day and had the hand enrolled. And unfortunately, for Trenton, he got hurt, and then Drew's injury. So obviously, I don't like that. I like rolling with one guy. I think one of the reasons I don't like that, to be honest, is it forces kids to play very conservative, or it forces kids to press. And when you play very conservative, it's hard to sustain drives down the field. When you press, you turn the ball over. So I think a lot of the mistakes on game day this last week are my fault, because I put our guys in a situation to try to make plays, try to force plays, because they're trying to stay on the field. And I think that goes back to, the decision that I made to play them both. And that's something that I don't like doing. Don't believe, hindsight's, what is that, 2020? So it goes back just my belief of why I don't. So I probably should have stayed true to that belief and not put the pressure on those guys. So I think a lot of the mistakes we made at quarterback were on me, 100%.
What makes Caleb Williams a special player?
Everything. He's smart. We joked about it today. We were going to have just because we may have to use Hunter, our quarterback, who's on the scout on our offense. So we talked about, hey, putting another quarterback back there, like a Jake Smith or something. And I'm like, well, that's good. He can move around like Caleb. And I'm like, but Caleb can sling that thing too. Jake, can you throw it? It was just funny. Like, he's great at everything. He's smart. He's elusive. He's calm. He can throw from different arm angles. He can make the big throw. He knows when to get out of plays. He knows when to get into plays. And him and Coach Riley are on the same page. They've been together 3 years, so they know what each other are thinking. Not many flaws, if any, in his game. One of the best quarterbacks in the country this year, but one of the best quarterbacks for sure since I've been coaching college football. He could be one of the best to come through. He does it all, and it's a great, great challenge for our guys.